Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of SmackDown Live Recap on the Pro Wrestling Sheet. I'm your host, John Rocha, joined as always by the CEO of the Pro Wrestling Sheet, Ryan Satin over there. Ryan, how are you doing? People had a lot of strong reactions to our conversations on the Raw recap. You called me out for being a what chanter, and people responded.
What?
Some people, good. Very well done. Very well done. Some guy threatened to block me, and I was like, go ahead.
That would crack me up, that guy threatening to block you. Yeah. I mean, when you find out someone that you like listening to and talking to on a weekly basis is a what chanter, it's a hard thing to accept initially, you know, but no, it's good. I mean, I'm doing all right. I'm running a little late today when I was coming in here to the office, and then as I'm running late, it just started dumping down here. I didn't read the forecast before I left, so I'm an idiot in a t-shirt today. So we're getting through this. We'll do this. Yeah. I'm also very excited to talk about one part of this show that I can't wait to see Rocha's head explode. It's going to be great.
Yeah. There's a lot of great things that happen on this show, but there are a couple of things that when we get into them, I'd like to get into a deeper discussion about. So let's get it going. I enjoyed the show overall. Let's jump into it. Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
Sound up. The Miz coming out doing one of the best promos I've heard the Miz do in a long time. And it's almost like they've had him do these programs and get into these situations, and Miz has just been waiting. And then finally he was able to come out and he delivered a stellar promo, bashing Shane, setting up the match. Now I came out of that promo going, okay, now I want to see this match.
Did you come out of this promo thinking that, like, okay, I'm totally sold on face Miz though?
Yes,
really?
I did. Because like you were, and I keep referencing this, like you've said many weeks, face, heel, it's almost the line is blurrier and blurrier every week. Like we saw the Usos cheering on Kofi. I thought the Usos were kind of sliding into heel territory. Sasha Banks does a lot of heel conversation, even though she's supposedly a face. So seeing the Miz do it his way, I like that.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's... Here's the thing. So I liked the promo.
Yeah.
It was a great... Obviously, Miz is a master of the microphone.
He really is.
It's not like he never really has a bad promo. Mm-hmm. It's like a Paul Heyman where it's not going to be bad.
Right.
But if I had to like nitpick or whatever, you know, I think the gray area is my problem with this, is that, you know, in turning... The Miz has been a long time villain in WWE.
Yeah.
He has been like one of the only lifelong villains in WWE, and I feel like in order for me as the viewer to finally feel like I can cheer the Miz, I need to see some sort of triumphant act of heroism. And I don't feel like we've seen that with him yet. If anything, it's still about him.
Right.
It's because of the dad, because of the dad situation or whatever. But for me, I didn't see any act of heroism. If anything, it was just kind of like, okay, cool, now I can say things that I know are going to make the crowd pop.
Right.
Because obviously he's been waiting to say those things.
Yes.
He knows what's going to make the crowd pop. He knows what's going to make them angry. That's why he's so good at talking on the microphone. So I think that's where my issue lies with it, is that I just because Shane turned heel doesn't necessarily make Miz a face in my eyes. Okay. I feel like he would have to do something. Like if Shane had started beating up his dad. Yeah. And he went in and saved his dad, that would be some sort of like act of heroism, because his dad, we all love Miz dad.
Right.
We all love Mr. Miz, you know, and so.
But Mr. Miz didn't believe in the Miz for a long time. So,
which is kind of, it's crazy that he says
I don't necessarily like Mr.
Dad,
Miz that much.
It's crazy that he said his dad never said I love you until they were on television.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not real, but that is so, yes, that would definitely make Mr. Miz look like the worst freaking person. Yeah. But yeah, I guess you're right in that sense too. So yeah, I mean, even that there.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So I think that's really why I couldn't like get my all into it.
But I don't think we're going to ever see a full face Miz. I don't think we can. It's not in his nature. And I don't think the people want that. They don't want, look what's happened with Becky Lynch and the Man. Ever since they made her a full face, people have been like, oh, it's not as exciting as it was before. And I think with Miz, you want to have both. You want to have both. He's been here long enough that you want to enjoy him being a heel and a face. A haste, for lack of a better word, or a feel. You want
tweener.
A tweener, yeah. You like the tweener aspect of it all. And I enjoy that with him. So to expect him to go full face, I wouldn't want to see that. In fact, I had this weird sinking feeling in my body as I was watching this promo and him talking about his dad, that his dad might help him lose the match to Vince, might be with Shane and turn on his own son. Then he's full face. Then he's as face as he's going to get. If you have your own father and Shane turning against you, that's something. It's almost like Star Wars, where he becomes Vader in essence, and that's the Emperor is Shane, his dad is Vader, and he's got to fight his way through. And eventually, down the road, his dad turns on Shane, helps him win this big critical match, and we've got a Star Wars situation. I'm just saying.
I'm not shaking my head in disagreement. I'm shaking my head because that was some deep shit, and I loved it.
I'm in that mood today.
I love Star Wars, and the fact that you were able to make a comparison between the Miz and Shane storyline and Luke and Darth Vader, whew, I'm into it now.
Yeah.
I wish
make it happen.
That's all WWE had to have said. Yeah. They could have surpassed all of this. But no, you know what though? I agree with you. I didn't think about that. If it ends with if it not ends, I guess, because we can't end with that. But if at WrestleMania or sometime before, if Mr. Miz turns on the Miz in the build up to this match in the next few weeks, that'd be awesome.
I mean, the easy way is Mr. Miz helps Miz beat Shane. That's so easy.
Or
but
even
this is WrestleMania.
He thinks
something incredible.
Or even he thinks Mr. Miz is backing him on something, and then Mr. Miz hits him with a chair.
Oh yeah.
And the build up to Mania, because I'll agree with you. I 100% agree. If they were to do that, that would 100% in my eyes make me want to cheer for Miz.
Yeah.
If Mr. Miz turns on him, Shane turned on him. 100%. That would 1,000% make me cheer for Miz going towards WrestleMania as a full-fledged face. I'd be super into it.
Yeah.
So I hope they could add. If it's not that, because you're right, they have included Mr. Miz a lot, and you would think he has to factor in some way. If they could do that or something similar to where you garner sympathy for real for the Miz, then I think it'd be a much better approach going towards this match, because right now there's no sympathy for the Miz.
There isn't.
There's no, you know what I mean?
No, Shane is not a consistent wrestler. Shane is older than Miz.
And he goaded Shane into doing this.
He did.
He wouldn't shut up about it.
Right.
He annoyingly made it happen constantly. It's almost like, you know what? His character kind of deserved the beat up from Shane a little bit.
You brought it on yourself.
He kind of did bring it on himself.
If you're gonna be a frog giving a scorpion a ride across the water, if you get stung, it's kind of your own fault.
Especially if you get stung by a McMahon.
McMahon.
If you're in the WWE water, you should know you don't want to be friend of McMahon. It's never going to end positively unless you're Triple H.
Right.
You know?
Then you got to marry into that shit. Let's move on here to the worst part of the night. Bayley and Sasha taking on the IIconics. Lord Mary, Mother of God. Look, the IIconics are fantastic characters. They're great on the mic. I love their back and forth. A lot of fun. This whole jazz, all of it, phenomenal characters. They get in the ring, and I'm watching Junior Varsity against Pro. It's so frustrating. Peyton drives me nuts. It's so ridiculous. Billie Kay, I think, is better than Peyton Royce, and I wish they'd give her more to do. But they blew so many spots last night, Ryan, that I was going.
You love just throwing that out there.
It's not true. I will show me them. We can watch. Okay. We can watch. We can watch.
Yeah, I want to see these blown spots you're referring
here we go. Here, let's watch the slow walk into the punch.
That's not a blown spot.
No, here. Look at this. Look at that. I mean, come on. The slow walk in anticipation of getting hit. Take the hit. Go into the side. Go into those things, and then they missed. They were too. They're over exaggerated when they do these moves. Billie Kay, when she came off the onto the mat with her head, literally hit like this while her head was still up, and then threw her head down. And that's like
the most nitpicky thing ever.
It's not nitpicky. It's constant. It's a constant. It blows the organic flow of a match.
I enjoyed the match. I thought that was the perfect thing to do. I thought that the IIconics have been a consistent tag team this whole time. I feel like they're fun to watch.
Consistent is right.
They have been consistent.
Terribly consistent. Yes. Consistently terrible. Rather.
Yeah. Yes. So terrible that they've been getting pushed and getting put on TV and getting praised by people, and very consistently terrible.
As many people are dissing them as praising them. Don't act like it's a chorus and I'm just all by myself. There's a lot of people who don't like the IIconics in ring work.
You're one of the only people I see consistently bashing on the IIconics.
Wow.
I actually don't see that online ever.
Okay.
And they love bashing on people, but I rarely see people bashing on the IIconics, to be honest with you. I thought it was
storyline wise, it made sense.
Obviously, it's
of
not.
Of course, you want to push them for the WrestleMania.
My whole thing is that like, sometimes I feel like people, you for sure, but other people as well, forget that like not every match, the intent of every match is not to go out there and have a 6-star match. The intent of every or 5-star match or whatever, the intent of a lot of these matches are to advance storylines.
But
like,
you want to have a good match. You don't have to have a 6-star match.
You're talking about
a good
her
match.
head not being close enough to the mat.
These
at
are
a certain
examples.
point.
These are examples, but they happen all through the match. These are
But
examples.
that's if you're looking for reasons
they're
to be
clumsy.
angry.
They're awkward. No, dude, have I not turned around a Carmella? Have I not? I have a consistent record on if your in-ring working improves, I give you credit. I have not seen the IIconics improve. Maybe down the road they will improve it. You will hear me give them credit. But like I just right now I don't like their in-ring work, and it really bothers me.
But the whole thing is
it doesn't mix with
just
their
like
fantastic stuff outside.
You didn't start liking Carmella until she became a face because she was doing things that made you want to cheer for her.
Also because her in-ring work got better. It got better. But so for me, I started cheering for her when she got better.
She started doing things to get to elicit a reaction, a positive reaction from the audience.
Sure, but I like face. I mean, I like heel wrestlers as well. When wrestlers go heel, I love when they're really good in ring work and really good in the characters. That's my frustrating part of this situation is I want them to be as good in the ring as they are outside of the ring, and we're not quite there yet. And they're trying to build them up. I get it. They're trying to build them up, but I don't.
My problem. I know you're not a sexist person.
No,
but I just never hear you say that about like. I don't know, Braun Strowman or Baron Corbin. Well, Baron Corbin. Yes.
I do go after Baron Corbin.
Excuse me. Sorry.
For God's sake.
But like the fact that she ran through a clothesline did not ruin that match.
But I'm not. This is the only tag team. Female tag team.
No, you said Nia and Tamina you think shouldn't be allowed to wrestle.
I didn't say that. I said not Nia. Well, Nia because I think she hurts people, not because she shouldn't be, not because like, blah, blah, blah. And Tamina, I think more because Tamina is struggling through injuries and it shows. That's
so
my thing.
You did say that about them.
But I didn't say they shouldn't wrestle.
Well, no,
I never said that. I never said that.
But you've said how bad they are. You've said how you said how bad Natalya is constantly.
No, I didn't say Natalya. I didn't say she's bad. I said that I don't know why they have to keep working her into these storylines that we've seen everything she's done, she can do already, is my point. But I am also praising Becky, praising Charlotte, praising Sasha, praising Bayley. I'm praising Carmella, turning around on Carmella. I have been consistent. The thing is this, you can look at it and go, oh, he's after. I want this female division to be so fucking good that nobody can say
That's
shit
why I said,
about it.
I preface by saying I don't think you're sexist.
No,
I do
that's
think
my approach. I'm harder on them because I want them to blow away the men's division, and we're not there yet. And so I'm one of these people that's like, I don't know. My approach to it is more like a drill sergeant type of thing. You can get better. Let's do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sexist.
I do not think you're sexist. I was actually going to say that right at the end. Yeah. I was going to say
because I like Mandy and Sonya as well.
I just think that you are harder on the women.
Yeah, okay, fair.
And that makes sense. The reason you just said.
I just want them to
because
go
that makes sense. Your reasoning there does make sense.
Point of view.
That does make sense from a different point. And I totally that.
I'm still supportive. Damn it.
I don't know what my girl. I'm sorry. I got a weird text from my girlfriend that I don't understand.
Was it Peyton? You son of a bitch.
No, but I understand your point. It's just for me. I like people playing different characters. So like Sasha and Bayley are the workhorses. They're the ones they're the ones you come for. You're there for that for them. Mm-hmm. That's why you love them so much. Nia and Tamina are supposed to be these big powerhouses. They're not supposed to be doing fancy moves. And yes, there might have been times where Tamina has hurt people, but they're not. They're doing these big power moves. Right. So I don't expect them to be doing all this fancy technical work. And with the IIconics, they're chicken shit heels. Like that's their thing. And so I don't expect them to be putting on these masterpieces. I expect them to be showcasing their characters and getting you to and helping to build as much heat as possible for this WrestleMania match. And so I think that's why I enjoyed it, is because I do think that the surprise factor of the IIconics being the women's tag team champions, I just think that helps build the match better. And so,
storyline wise, it makes sense.
And I thought the finish, considering they cheated a little bit, was good. I thought it was a good finish. It was it was nice the way it was done. It was didn't make Sasha look bad. Didn't make Bayley look bad or anything like that.
The best moment was Billie Kay's kick to Bayley as she was. That was fantastic. I'll give credit. That was fantastic. It was well timed, well executed, and it was believable that Bayley could be knocked out of the situation, not help Sasha when they cheated to win the match.
Yes.
It was believable.
It was.
I give credit where credit is due.
That kick was brutal, though.
It was fantastic.
That was a fantastic kick.
And
yeah.
that's what I'm getting at. They would go next level. All the pieces are there if their in-ring work matched what they do outside.
No, it's just like Carmella. If that's what they were asked to do, but you forget there's agents in the back and Vince McMahon who are telling them this is what we want you to do.
Okay, all right, and I'm open-minded.
And I get that you're saying some of those things were a little tighter, it could be picked up, could be made tighter. I get that, but at the end of the day, they're playing a role like in a movie that they're told to do, and they're not supposed to deviate outside those lines. And so
it doesn't mean they can't give a good match, though, just because they're playing chicken shit heels.
But they're only doing what they're told.
There's so many great female wrestlers.
But they're doing what they're told.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. I don't know if it's skills versus told, but either way, obviously
you didn't think Carmella had it in her, and then when she
did,
when they allowed her to, because they wanted her to elicit cheers from
that's
people.
fair, and I'm open-minded. If this goes down the road, I will take my words back.
Because I feel like the only thing that with the IIconics that you undersell is that like you're like, you know, put in the time. Yeah, they've been wrestling since they were like 14.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't say put in the time.
And they were trained by Lance Storm.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on. You don't think that...
I love Lance.
I'm pretty sure they both are. I know for sure Peyton was.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Billy.
I love Lance.
I think they both were, but I know Peyton was. And I know Lance isn't churning out wrestlers that can't...
Lance is as hardcore as they come. Yeah. You're right about that.
So I'm just saying.
Whoa! Right.
I knew it was going to... Man, right when it was like 1, 2, 3, I was like, fuck, that's going to get intense on the show tomorrow.
Aaron texted me yesterday. Aaron Turner, our friend, he texted me. He goes, "You're going to hate SmackDown." And I was like, the IIconics, right? He's like, yeah.
Right when it happened, I almost texted you and Aaron, but I was like, and I'm pissed now that I know that because I didn't want to spoil it for you.
No, it's all right.
And so I wanted you to actually have an angry reaction when you watched it, because I was also going to text both of you and make a joke about it, like, oh man, Rocha's head's going to explode tonight.
I still had an angry reaction. Don't get me wrong. All right, let's move on. Kevin Owens, the Kevin Owens show all of a sudden showed up. Here we go. Once again, proving the point that I made yesterday. Kevin Owens show makes sense. Why? Because he's currently involved in storylines in some way, in some form, and he's wrestling. So to him having a show makes sense. It's something to do, gives him TV time. And I don't know if this segment necessarily worked. Did we need them to fight again, Ryan? We're already there. Charlotte got the best of her, which really pissed me off again for a majority of the fight. And I don't know. Do we believe it when Charlotte says, I'm going to kick your ass? You haven't kicked her ass in 6 months. So you're just like, And then having a man instigate these two women into a fight, I thought optically was just bad overall. I don't know. What do you feel?
Okay, so you threw a lot out there.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I just got to pick them all.
Yeah, one at a time, sure.
The first, in contrast to yesterday's conversation about a moment of bliss, I kind of felt the same way I felt on Monday. I thought to myself, man, especially because of our conversation, I thought to myself, man, they just don't know what they're going to do with Kevin Owens for WrestleMania. And they're like, well, let's just bring the Kevin Owens show back, I guess. That's how it felt. Yeah. And that to me was like, oh man, he wasn't even in the gauntlet match. They just kind of like randomly threw him out there in a tie and just kind of told him to like be entertaining, you know? And so that was my initial thing where I said, wow. And I'll be honest, I've never been big on the whole KO show thing.
Yeah.
When we were talking about it yesterday, I forgot. And also, you mentioned a lot of people tweeted us about the Gorgeous George thing. That it wasn't Gorgeous George, Adrian Adonis.
Yeah. My bad. I'm sorry, I forgot something 3 decades ago.
It still dates you. Whatever.
I love those flower shop segments. Anyway,
but yeah, I couldn't help but feel the same way watching this segment. I kept thinking to myself, this really does seem like very pointless, all of it. For Kevin Owens, for Charlotte and Becky. It didn't really advance anything.
No, it didn't. It just gives them something to do before we get there.
Yeah.
And them slapping referees and security guys around. I guess that matches what Ronda did, but it's not necessary. We're all already in.
And it's also very disjointed, like disconnected from what we saw on Monday with Ronda Rousey just like going ape shit.
Yeah.
Like I would like
great, everybody can go ape shit.
Give Becky a mic and just let her go out there and talk about Ronda going ape shit.
Yeah, that's all. Look,
I get that it's a three-way and you want to have one on Raw, one on SmackDown, but right?
Yeah, you don't even need Kevin Owens for this.
No.
Like, the blueprint is The Rock and John Cena. That's the blueprint. Let them go at each other. Let them tear each other apart promo-wise, and maybe once slip and have a fight that you have to separate. But just let them promo off every week. There's something new for them to pick off every week about each other and about Ronda. Using the Kevin Owens show did absolutely nothing to further this. They didn't need him. They don't need him to instigate them into the fight. And him going, I know what it's like when you're best friends. Like all he said was what everyone's been saying already. Nothing was furthered here.
Yep, absolutely. And also, sometimes I'll give you shit for or I won't agree or whatever for the sexist thing or whatever. I forget what the last one was. It was with Ronda and Travis Brown.
Oh, picking her up and moving her.
The optics of this one I felt kind of the same way on this one.
Yeah.
I kind of felt the same way. I thought to myself like, did you need this guy instigating these two women to show that these two women can't handle the things that are said? I don't know. I know social justice warrior.
No, I'm not trying to be.
And I'm not, honestly, I'm
There's
not even
optics here.
I'm not even putting it down necessarily, but I can agree with you in the fact that I kind of had that same thought. I wasn't offended over it.
Right,
I wasn't,
right.
but I do kind of agree that it was very you needed this guy to go in there and needle them, when in reality it would have been cool to have Becky Lynch or Charlotte, one of them, just go out there and react to everything that happened on Monday with Ronda disrespecting the business.
Yeah.
That's the storyline right now.
Right.
Ronda's disrespecting the wrestling business, and these two wrestlers need to stand up for wrestling.
Yeah, and you've got to find a new angle, and that would have been the new angle.
Yeah.
If somehow Becky does her promo, Charlotte comes out, interrupts her, they have a back and forth, and then Becky says something about Ronda disrespecting the business, and Charlotte agrees with her, and they catch themselves surprised that they agreed about something when they've been at each other. And here they are, her on the ramp, her in the ring, and they're just staring at each other, and you go to black. Because then that's another element of this three-way that you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen now. Are they suddenly finding a kinship here? That would have been fun. And if you're going to do possibly somehow the four horsemen versus the four horsemen in this match somehow, then it makes sense that they find themselves on the same side against Ronda and these people who are bashing the business.
I also feel like their lack of creativity in what they did last night is further allowing the Kofi stuff to eclipse the Becky stuff.
Yeah.
And I get it. This Kofi stuff is awesome. I love it. But I don't think they're main eventing the show with it.
It doesn't look like it.
And if they are, honestly, I love Kofi Kingston, but I think it's a mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a tough thing to say because what do you...
The scary thing is this. If it goes Rollins and Lesnar to main event, before that is Bryan and Kingston. Before that is the triple threat match of the ladies. The way this is going, you're starting to feel the triple threat move further and further back down the WrestleMania rundown, and that is their own fault. And if I was involved in this, I would be raising holy hell in the back going, what are you doing to my character? What are you doing to our match? This could be incredible. We should headline. But you are booking us so shittily over the last few weeks that you're moving us further and down the line, of the lineup rather, and the fans are going along with it. And that's a mistake.
And I agree.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they had focused more on the kayfabe breaking Ronda Rousey last night, it wouldn't have felt that way as much.
Nope.
But instead they went back to what they were kind of doing before in this needless segment. And I thought to myself, I don't know, man. I want them to main event the show.
Yeah. Me too.
But I thought to but now I'm starting to look at it and I go, well, man, especially after we just posted this video today where Big E is very clearly bringing this into the storyline.
Let's talk about
where
that
Big E is saying, we'll talk about that when we get to this, but Big E's clearly saying, bringing the racial thing into it.
Absolutely.
It was kind of brushed upon last week, and we didn't really talk about it. But in this video that Big E posted, it was much more direct. It was much more like people like us are only going to get so far in WWE.
Yeah.
And so you start to inject that. Now I go well, shit, what do you end the show with?
Right.
First full black champion in WWE?
Yeah.
Or
a triple threat.
Or women finally ending the show.
Right.
That's tough.
And do you think Lesnar's going to be like, oh, okay, I'm cool not main eventing WrestleMania? There's a lot of factors involved here, and the creative team has painted themselves, or Vince has painted himself into a corner here, because all three have legitimate gripes to main event WrestleMania.
Yes. Well, yes.
And one is building, one is decreasing, one is consistent.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Lesnar and Rollins is
consistently like not that exciting.
It's not that exciting, but it is
the universal title.
Yeah. But with Kofi, which we're going to talk about next, the Kofi thing is moving higher up, and the triple threat of the women's thing is moving down. Not because it's sexist, because the creative is kind of fumbling the ball here.
Yeah.
Which is shocking on SmackDown.
Well, it's because they were trying to recreate the Daniel Bryan storyline with Becky Lynch.
Right.
But then it magically happened for real with Kofi Kingston.
Exactly.
And they're like, oh, also Daniel Bryan's involved in the storyline. So it makes way more sense here to do it, because now Kofi is the new Daniel Bryan against the new Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's a perfect storm.
Yeah.
And the Becky Lynch thing is, the more they deviate from the man, and the more they deviate from that, the further, the less important it feels.
Yeah.
And that sucks, because this show should be ending. This show could have easily been booked to end with Becky Lynch winning the women's championship, and it would have been a big deal, and it would have been huge, and the place would have went nuts, just like Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. So it's a weird scenario. It's a very weird scenario. I hope they get it back on track.
Yeah, there's only 2 or 3 weeks left.
I know.
I don't know if they can get it back on track, to be honest with you. Let's move on. Daniel Bryan does his promo, addressing, talking to the WWE Universe about Kofi Kingston, calling him a B+ player, really leaning into that idea that was, was his mantle to carry for a long time, and what a lot of people in the back felt about Daniel Bryan, until eventually he did run the gauntlet and win the title. How nice to have the irony that Kofi is now the one being called a B+ player. This is a good promo by Daniel Bryan, certainly pushing the upcoming match that's going to happen, that we think is going to happen at WrestleMania, and right before Kofi runs the gauntlet.
It has. I mean, at this point, it has to happen.
Yeah, right. I mean,
and also, I think based on last night, I think the prospect of Kevin Owens being in the match is out the window.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like they've definitely distanced him from all of this.
Yeah.
So with that being said, if they went with anyone else, it'd be insane at this point.
Yeah.
Unless
they swerved at WrestleMania and threw Kofi in there, whatever. But usually, and I'm sorry, Ryan, not to cut you off. Usually when it's Vince doing these kinds of things, in the past, they've had the storyline where it's either Shane or Stephanie or Linda gets involved to kind of curtail his power and force him to put a wrestler in a championship match. There's no one to force Vince to change his mind about the situation unless they've got something planned in the next couple of weeks.
I saw some people tweeting about this.
Okay.
And I honestly hadn't thought about it. So this is not my original idea, but I saw some people tweeting about it. I forget the handles, my apologies. But the big moment of, if you're going back to the Yes Movement.
Yeah.
If you go back in time to WrestleMania 30, if we're following that story.
Yeah, trajectory, yeah.
The big moment was Occupy Raw with all the fans.
Oh, right. Yeah.
What if they do Occupy SmackDown with New Day and all the the wrestlers?
Yeah, the wrestlers were in the back.
The wrestlers were in the back pissed, and they get all those good guys, and they're like, no, we're walking out. You're moving to Fox in a few weeks or a few months. You won't have a roster because we're going to be gone. We're not getting out of this ring until you put Kofi in the match. And that's why they're doing the whole people like us thing. And they're not specifically saying black people. They're not specifically saying people of color.
Yeah, they're not. But it's really implied.
But I also think they're going two ways with it.
Yeah.
Of like people like us, but also people like us. And that's like the workhorses of the company. They're all going to come out there of like, no. We're not, and I would love it if they had a bunch of backstage employees too who are like, these are the camera guys. They don't get to see their families. These are this guy, and they go to they start calling out all the employees, and Vince has no choice but to put Kofi in the match because he won't have a crew and wrestlers.
Yeah,
I feel like that'd be a good way to progress this. Refs, everyone. They're all just in there. Sorry, Vince. Yeah. Kofi earned it.
We won't. And if they had the guts to really, because there's not enough time, but if they had the guts to string this out a little bit over a few more weeks, you could have a night where Vince is super pissed about all of it, and he brings in scrub wrestlers to,
I would love
to
that.
fight like the people who are the heels, and the fans are just booing, and the tech guys, it's like PAs are manning the camera, and they keep messing up. Like people calling the matches are like interns, and they're terrible at it. That would be if they could ever have the guts to take a chance like that and risk their ratings for one episode, it would be worth it for that.
That would be cool.
They would never do it, but it'd be worth it.
You show them crossing the scrubs crossing the line.
Yeah, crossing the picket line, the heels crossing the picket lines because they're not going to join with the faces. It would make a lot of sense all around. Oh, I'm going to get my money. I'm not voting. It would be great, but then they're facing nobody's in this situation. It would be a blast.
Totally.
Yeah, not enough time.
Not enough time, but I like the idea, definitely.
Yeah.
But I really do love Daniel Bryan playing into the whole B+ player thing.
Yes, so good.
The fact that he's calling someone else that now is such a fun career arc, such a good callback.
And he has such a great smirk on his face when he's doing it because he knows he's in on it, which is great.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get into the gauntlet matches. What a bunch of matches for Kofi. He took on Sheamus first, defeated him. Took on Cesaro after that, defeated him. Then took on Rowan, and Rowan absolutely demolished him outside of the ring, got himself disqualified. Sheamus tried to beat him straight up, tried to exhaust him. Cesaro came in and tried to hurt him with that back injury. Rowan came in and tried to destroy him physically and left him for dead for Samoa Joe to come out. Kofi fought back, won, beat Samoa Joe, and then got in the coquina clutch, and then Orton had to come out after that, and then eventually Kofi won. So you think Kofi is in, and of course, you hear Vince's music, and there's no way you think Vince is like, congratulations. He comes out and says, you got to beat one more guy. The fans are booing like crazy, and Xavier and Big E are mad as well, and it's Daniel Bryan. Kofi fought his ass off. But Daniel gets the victory here, and now we don't know what's going to happen because we left with Xavier and Big E tending to Kofi in the ring, who's completely destroyed. Ryan, overall, what do you think about this? And overall, what do you think it says?
One of the things I don't like is when WWE tries to recreate something organic that happened.
Yes.
And
you can feel it.
You can feel it. And that's why the Becky Lynch angle hasn't gotten over this whole time. It's that they're trying to recreate when Becky Lynch got punched in the face. Yeah. But that was an organic moment that happened, that we all saw happen, that we all knew happened. Yeah. You can't recreate that. Lightning doesn't strike the ball twice. Mm-hmm. You can't. It doesn't happen. And so to me, as this match was crisp, it had everything I would have liked. It hit all the points. It's just you knew what was going to happen. Yeah. You knew there was no way he was going to lose. First of all, you knew he was going to win the actual gauntlet. Yeah. You knew Vince was going to put one last hurdle in there, or say, well, I didn't mean you're going to Mania. So, or mean you're going to be in the title match, you're going to WrestleMania. You knew something was going to happen. Yeah. So I think that's my problem, is that it was with the last gauntlet match with Kofi, because he was the one that just randomly placed the nth competitor in the match. You didn't expect him to go an hour. Yeah. This time you expected them to do the exact same thing they did last time, and that's what they did. Yeah. So yes, the wrestling was awesome. Yes, there were cool spots in the match. Yes, there was great storytelling regardless. Yeah. All the way through. They made Kofi Kingston still seem strong. Everything. They hit the same spots as the other thing. Yeah. It just didn't have the same. It didn't evoke the same emotion to me.
I agree, and you're 1,000% right. This feeling, and as I was watching this, it occurred to me just organically, man, they're making the black guy go and do more than anybody else. They have to once again prove that they have to work harder than everybody else to get the opportunities. They handed Kevin Owens a championship opportunity against Daniel Bryan they're making Kofi through this. Now, removing that, and you can remove that. It's a great storyline that they're making Kofi work this hard to get there, just like Daniel Bryan. It mirrors what Daniel Bryan, a white guy, had to go through, but a small guy had to go through to get to his position to win the title, right? So you like this, but then Big E releases that video, and I watched you guys should watch it. It's on his Twitter. 2 minutes.
It's on the wrestling sheet.
Oh, it's on the wrestling sheet? I'm sorry, it's on the wrestling sheet. 2 minutes.
But also on his Twitter.
2 minutes and 20 seconds of him talking about how us guys that you were referencing, Ryan, have to work harder than everybody else. Us workhorses, skipping, birthdays, blah blah blah, to give what we can to this company, and we just get screwed over and over again. We just have to work harder than everybody else, and even they're only going to let us get so far. So all the points are there that we've heard before from Black people, African American people in various walks of life. So you get that reference. But yes, Ryan, you're also right. It can apply to multiple people, no matter what their heritage, about having to work harder than everybody else, but still not getting what they deserve.
Okay, regardless of that, I know how I feel about looking at it, because that is how I feel. But I did have, some friends that texted me saying that, and you're the king of optics, of like optically of things.
Yeah.
Do you feel like optically, because you kind of said it there, you did kind of say it there.
Yeah.
And I did have people text me saying that I'm enjoying the storyline for all the reasons you just listed right there as well. It for me, someone who, that Daniel Bryan storyline is probably one of my favorite wrestling storylines.
It's a fantastic story. Organic.
It was so organic. I was following it so heavily at the time. It was something that was a moment in time. And so I really, really, really loved that storyline. So to me, I see them hitting all the same points, and I'm like, I get it. Regardless, optic-wise. I had some people text me the exact same thing, saying like, do you think it's kind of bad? Is that it makes company look bad that this really old white guy whose wife is part of Trump's cabinet, who has had this company for decades and never had a full black champion, throwing out all these obstacles because he really doesn't want this black guy to be in just a title match?
Right.
Do you think that shines that I forget the way they worded it, but do you think it reflects negatively on the company at all?
I think it does to a degree, and that being that Vince is the one who owns the company, and Vince is the one playing the part in this angle of the heel owner doing this.
And he also, keep in mind, buddies with Trump, family took pictures by his side in the White House.
Absolutely, but I also respect Vince being the evil guy in this storyline, so that when Kofi does win it, and my God, if he doesn't, that's a whole nother conversation. But when he does win it at WrestleMania, Vince has played a part in letting this happen, because Vince controls the creative direction of so many things, which you've said over and over again, Ryan. Vince controls the creative direction. So Vince has played his part in helping this black wrestler, full black wrestler, become the first full black champion of the WWE and holding the title. And that would be fantastic.
And while shining a light on the fact that he hasn't done it yet.
Yes, that he hasn't done it yet. So he's willing to put himself in the firing line. I don't want to give him too much credit, but certainly he deserves credit for taking part in this angle, in this storyline. Yes, Kofi's had to run through 3 gauntlets now to get into this position, and yet still he's denying him a shot at the title. And we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks, how they make it happen. But Big E's video and promo can't be overlooked about where, and he wouldn't do that unless Vince said or creative said it was okay for him to post that, because he's risking his job.
Of course.
He's risking his job. So in that way, I do give Vince credit. But overall, optics-wise, yes, it's not a positive, but the fact that Vince is taking part in the creative does help alleviate some of those optics, I think, overall, because eventually he will win it.
That's exactly how I felt about the situation. You actually worded it better than I could have. That's exactly how I feel about the entire situation, is that while, yes, in the short term, it may look that way.
It does.
In the long term, it's going to look as though, obviously this was done to shine a light on the fact that they haven't done this. Right. And now they're going to give this long time veteran wrestler a chance. Mm-hmm. I think it's, in the long run, it's for good.
Yeah, and I'm going to cuss in this moment. They fucking better not do to him what they did to Sasha. One match and then he loses the belt.
Daniel Bryan too.
Yeah,
Daniel Bryan just had that. Wasn't it just like that one against Kane, and then he got injured or something?
They better not have. They better let Kofi run with that belt for like 6 months at least, and then lose the title, or if he has to. Because what they did to Sasha really frustrated the hell out of me, because that's a great wrestler, and they had her win it and then lose it immediately after in the next match.
Like every time.
Every time. It was super frustrating. Yeah. And so with Kofi, I want Kofi to hold it for a while. Then Daniel gets that can still play out. You don't have to have him lose it in the next match. Let him carry it for a little bit, so you show a commitment to him and a thank you to him for going through all you put him through, so he can hold the belt for a bit. And then you destroy the optics. you kind of destroy the optics of it all. That's the way to go.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Man, there was something we were talking about that I wanted to bring up. There was one more question I wanted to ask, and now I'm pissed that I can't remember it. You had sprung something in me past the racism part now.
Oh, yeah?
What was it?
Was it the optics of it all? Was it the
I don't remember now.
Was it
Damn
Vince?
it. Damn it. What was
Okay.
it? Oh,
good.
I remember
Great.
now.
Good. All right, let's talk about it.
So, okay. There's 3 big moments for faces at WrestleMania.
Yes.
There's potentially 3. There's Becky Lynch winning. There's
good question.
There's Seth Rollins defeating Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
And there's also Kofi Kingston defeating Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's too many feel-good moments on the show, even though I know it's 25-hour show?
Depends on when they schedule him, but yes.
Okay.
In the lineup.
Okay.
Because you can't have 3 title matches back to back to back.
So
That exhausts the crowd.
agreed. But then where do you, how do you?
That's what I'm getting at.
So that's what I'm worried is like, where do you put Kofi early in the show, winning the WWE Championship?
It seems weird to put him early in the show now, the way they've built it all up.
Right?
Yeah.
So then also Brock.
Yeah.
Like, do you put Brock versus Seth early in the show?
I think it's the women's match that's going to go early in the show.
You don't think they're going to close with it anymore?
I don't. At this point, I don't. We'll see how it
Obviously,
changes.
it's just speculation.
Right. And it's not because I don't want it to. I wanted to with every fiber of my being. But the way they're building up these other storylines and these other matches, it feels to me like they're not going to end with the women's title at this point.
I also worry that they've created a Goldberg-Lesnar-esque storm.
Right, where it feels like Ronda's leaving anyway.
Something bad, the crowd is just going to turn. I don't know that, but I do fear that it's possible the crowd's going to just shit on Ronda Rousey like they did knowing that Goldberg's leaving.
Yeah, they'll start doing the Nana hey, goodbye chants.
Exactly, and you don't want that in the main event of the show for the very first women's main event. And it's not the hot feud it once was. So that is, I think, a little bit of a problem.
And that's not the fans' fault. And they're going to try to spin it, the narrative that it's the fans' fault. It's not. It's creative's fault for fumbling this situation over the last few weeks. That's whose fault it is.
Spoken like a true what chanter. Okay, so
fair.
So let's say that my second part
Ronda's
of that.
going to win.
Well, no, that's not my.
Okay.
My second part of that is, I feel like you have, because of that problem, I feel like you have to sacrifice one of those feel-good moments. In my opinion, okay, what do you? Which one of those do you think gets sacrificed?
I think it's okay if Rollins doesn't win the belt.
That's me too.
Yeah, I think with what you've got built up, Rollins can give one hell of a match and not quite get there, and somehow Lesnar wins. But second is Ronda winning. And that's the way to.
You think Ronda's going to win?
I think that's a very strong possibility, in my opinion.
You think they're going to pull a Brock Lesnar-like move where they made you think she was leaving, and everyone thinks she's leaving, so she wins instead?
I say it's in the cards. It's a possibility. It's a great way for the WWE to swerve everyone because they've been pushing this idea of her, blah, blah, blah. Getting her husband involved in this more is an interesting situation now. And I think if of the 3, my number one thing is Rollins doesn't have to win the belt. He's so over. He can keep chasing it. But secondary to it is Ronda winning. That's possible.
I could 100% see, as much as I want Becky Lynch to win, I could 100% see Vince McMahon having this secret ace in the hole where that's why he brought up Travis. That's why they said, okay, fine, Travis, you want to have your husband on the road with you at all times?
Yeah.
Great. He's now your enforcer type guy behind you. Sure. No problem. You want to have your BFFs that are down in NXT traveling on the road with you at all times, so you and your buddies are traveling the country before you have a baby or whatever you want to do?
Yeah.
Look at that. Now we've called up Shayna, Jessamine, and Marina.
Yep.
You could literally be the 4 horsewomen in WWE, badass women, fucking shit up. So you keep the title. Then Raw after Mania, we bring up the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah.
You guys are a full faction in WWE. The next pay-per-view, we do 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen.
Yeah.
And the pay-per-view after that, she drops the title. She can go away for a little while.
Exactly. And you take the time to build up Becky back up again.
That's how I could very much see them doing that. But I could also, on the other hand, if she truly is leaving for a little while, I could also see them doing some... I wouldn't mind them ending the show. The way you could have the like big moment at the end is if the 4 horsewomen are all in the ring together.
Yes.
The Becky, Charlotte, Sasha, and Bailey somehow.
And I think that's how you end WrestleMania. Becky winning it on their shoulders. Maybe not Charlotte.
Charlotte hugs her.
Hugs her.
They reconcile.
This is a great match. They reconcile, right? Because they come together to beat Ronda, that kind of thing. And then that's how you end it. And it'd be a great way to end. And you could have, once again, you could have Rollins not win the title. So you have Kofi win and you have Becky Lynch win. It's still a great WrestleMania.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you don't remember for sure. But when Roman first announced his cancer, wasn't that right before Crown Jewel, and then he didn't wrestle at Crown Jewel, and it was like Braun versus Brock at Crown Jewel instead? Am I wrong in that?
Wasn't Crown Jewel the one where the cage match where the controversy about whether he hit first or Lesnar hit first? Wasn't that the Crown Jewel match?
No. Wasn't that Greatest Royal Rumble?
Oh, Greatest Royal Rumble. That's what that was.
Right?
Yes.
So Crown Jewel was Braun and Brock,
Braun
right?
And Brock, yeah.
I hope I'm not wrong. So some people are gonna be yelling at their screen if I am, or yelling at their car stereo.
It's
not
getting the flower shop wrong. That's not that level, because that's not current.
But I feel like because they got off track from that.
Yeah.
Because I want to say, you pull it up to your computer there.
Yeah.
I want to say though that he announced it. Then November was when they had Crown Jewel, and that's when Brock got the title back. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it only makes sense if we have the rematch of Roman versus Brock in Saudi Arabia for the next Saudi Arabia show, and that's when he gets the title back.
Okay.
Right? Wouldn't that make sense, kind of? Go to the match card. It'll be at the very bottom.
Greatest Royal, the Crown Jewel.
If you go to click on results.
Sorry. Yeah. All right, let's go to results.
Lesnar
defeated Braun Strowman.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, okay. So that's my guess.
Wow, and he didn't headline.
No.
It was brothers. So maybe Lesnar can take a back seat.
That's why I think he'll take a back seat here, but he still wins.
Yeah, but he still wins.
And then my guess is that the next Saudi Arabia show is when we finally see Roman get the title back.
Okay.
Roman in Saudi Arabia.
Hey. And there it is. Roman reigning in Saudi Arabia. All right. Well, that's our SmackDown Live recap. A lot was discussed. A lot was put out. Let us know what you think in the comments section there. Ryan, please tell them where they can find and read everything.
ProWrestlingSheet.com is the website. That's where you can find weekly updates on all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling. At Wrestling Sheet on all social media. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find all the videos. If you're there, hello. I appreciate you watching on there. But while you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a lot. It helps us out a lot. It keeps the lights on here. So please subscribe. Also like the video, comment. I read all of them. Share the video if you like it. There's a guy named Tanner. He loves sharing the videos, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Tanner.
He's always pushing the videos. I love it. So keep pushing those videos if you can. If you like the show, it just helps me out when you guys spread the word. There's only so much talking I can do, and I can do a lot of talking, but it helps. So please subscribe. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you just want to listen to the audio while you're working out, cooking, driving, whatever, go check out the podcast feed as well. It's on Podcast One, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, all the major platforms. Just search Wrestling Sheet Radio.
Get on it, people. You can follow Ryan at Ryan Satin. Follow me at The Rocha Says. Tweet at us about all things wrestling. We love responding. And thanks again, all the compliments you guys have been giving to our recap shows. I see them building. Means a lot. I try to retweet as many of them as possible to get attention for the show. So thank you so much. And we have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next week, next Tuesday.
Well, I'll see you later in the week.
Oh, you
Rocha will see you
that's right. For his
Wrestling Sheet Radio still.
Our show will see you next Tuesday for a Raw recap, and we'll see what happens as we go down the road to WrestleMania.
Choo choo.
ProWrestlingSheet.com